We bomb their infrastructure. They've got 70% inflation. Their internet's shut off. You know better than I do what we've done on the military side. Their launchers, gone. Their missiles, for the most part, gone. Their drones, gone. Do they have some left? Yeah. Their Navy, gone. Their Air Force, gone. You can get in an airplane, you personally, and fly anywhere you want to across Iran right now and feel safe because they don't have any air defenses. It will be, in my opinion, 20 years and cost $1 trillion before they're even back somewhat to normal. And I don't have the slightest idea where they're going to get the money.
In a fiery hearing, Senator John Kennedy just held Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's feet to the fire. Despite the administration boasting about success in Iran, Kennedy exposed a massive strategic failure: the impending transfer of Diego Garcia to Mauritius. Kennedy cornered Hegseth, forcing him to defend a move that effectively hands a $1 trillion military asset over to Chinese influence. Hegseth crumbled under the pressure. Watch the undeniable strategic disaster unfold.
Mr. Secretary, welcome. Can we agree that if you took President Xi Jinping and turned him upside down and shook him, that the African country of Mauritius would fall out of his pocket?
I don't know if we can, but I'd like to indulge you on that.
Well, let me try it another way. Mauritius is good friends with China, is it not?
I understand there's some level of a relationship there.
Yeah. Yeah, like they're BFFs or whatever the young people call it. Prime Minister Starmer wants to give Diego Garcia and the Chagos Islands to Mauritius, which has virtually no connection with the Chagos Islands, who will promptly give a spare key to Diego Garcia to China. Is that accurate?
What I would underscore is that Diego Garcia is a very strategic location, and having the ability to operate there for the United States military is going to be critically important in the future.
But Starmer wants to give it away, does he not?
As President Trump has stated, there's been some pretty bad deals made by the Brits as it pertains to Diego Garcia.
I'd like to hear you. I mean, the president's been back and forth on this, and I've talked to him a lot. He is not going to agree to that, is he?
No, as the president has stated, it was a bad deal that was cut by the UK and Prime Minister Starmer as it pertains to Diego Garcia, as evidenced by limitations that our troops could face in how we use that island. Yes.
All right. I appreciate that. My understanding is that the classified information and unclassified, it's public, showed that our intelligence discovered that not that long ago, Iran had developed the supreme leader, now dead is fried chicken, but they have a new supreme leader, had developed a new game plan for their nuclear weapons program. And their game plan was to jack up missile, both ballistic and cruise missile production and drone production, and put together this huge stockpile of missiles and drones. At which point they would turn to the United States and Israel and the rest of the world and say, we're going to restart our nuclear weapons program. If you bomb us again like you did in June, we will destroy the Middle East. And by the way, our missiles can now reach Berlin and London and Paris. Is that my understanding of one of the reasons, the main reason we went into Iran?
I think that's pretty well articulated, Senator, that they were trying to use the umbrella of their established conventional stockpiles to blackmail the rest of the world in pursuit of their own nuclear weapons.
Now let's talk about Iran today. Can we agree that Iran, both the public and the private sector, is being held together right now with spit and duct tape?
Spit and duct tape is not a doctrinal term, Senator, but I would agree with something along those lines.
It's a Louisiana term. I mean, 7 out of 10 Iranians are out of work. We bomb their infrastructure. They've got 70% inflation. their internet shut off. You know better than I do what we've done on the military side. Their launchers, gone. Their missiles, for the most part, gone. Their drones, gone. Do they have some left? Yeah. Their Navy, gone. Their Air Force, gone. You can get in an airplane, you personally, and fly anywhere you want to across Iran right now and feel safe because they don't have any air defenses. It will be, in my opinion, 20 years and cost $1 trillion before they're even back somewhat to normal. And I don't have the slightest idea where they're going to get the money. If they think China's going to give it to them or Russia, they've got to learn a hard lesson. To that extent, have we achieved our objective in Iran?
Objective, as this president has stated from the beginning, is to ensure they don't get a nuclear weapon, and President Trump remains dedicated to ensuring that happens. And everything you described with the military degradation of their country was in service of ensuring they never get a nuclear weapon.
This is what I never understood the president to say, I want a regime change in Iran, and I want to obtain all of their fissile material. I've never heard him say that. What I heard him say was, I don't want to go back through it, but our goal is to cripple them so they can't blackmail the rest of the world. Now, many of my Democratic friends are trying to say we have lost. Here's a footnote. You're not going to get Democratic support. They're not. They're not going to support you, Mr. Secretary, because they don't support President Trump. I know that's not a newsflash. But they say we've lost. I don't get it. I don't understand how we've lost. Is the strait closed? Yes. But if we continue that blockade where nothing's going in and nothing's going out, eventually they're going to have to shut down their oil fields, are they not? Half of their oil fields are low pressure. Once they put them down, they're not going to get them back up. Am I missing something here?
No, that's why the president is right when he says we hold all the cards, and we do. And we've got the best deal maker in the world able to make the best deal for the United States of America. And if we have to go back at it as the Department of War, we're ready to do that as well.
Well, keep two things in mind. You're not going to win over my Democratic friends. It's not worth getting your blood pressure up. Focus on other things. And number two, just keep this in mind. America first does not have to mean America alone. America first does not have to mean America alone. We need all the friends we can get. They need to carry their own weight. They need to pay their bills.
Listen up, guys, because this is where the Washington establishment totally exposes itself. Hegseth was up there sweating bullets on the hot seat, spinning this absolutely unhinged word salad about how shaking Xi Jinping like a giant geopolitical piggy bank somehow justifies handing the keys of Mauritius and our $1 trillion Diego Garcia bases straight to the CCP, and Kennedy wasn't having a single second of it. And while the administration expects a victory lap on Iran, claiming they're standing tough against Tehran's global blackmail and drone stockpiles, the reality is the Ayatollah's regime is already economically shattered, militarily crippled, and utterly stripped of air defenses. They are staring down massive inflation and will need decades and trillions of dollars they just don't have to rebuild, especially once this blockade totally chokes out their low-pressure oil fields. The president is absolutely right that we hold all the leverage, have the top negotiators in the room, and are fully prepared for war if they dare sprint for a nuke, which is our one and only red line, because we are completely done with the neocon fantasy of regime change. But instead of backing this play, the Democrats are sitting on their hands, refusing to support the secretary purely out of spite for Trump, totally forgetting that true America first doesn't mean going it alone. It means making our allies share the damn load instead of selling out our most lethal strategic assets to China.
US Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says there's what he calls rightful alarm over China's military buildup in the Asia-Pacific region. He made the comments during the annual Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore. Leaders are discussing the region's most pressing defense and geopolitical challenges.
When we look across the region today, there is rightful alarm regarding China's historic military buildup and the expansion of its military activities in the region and beyond. We share a clear-eyed assessment of that security environment and a mutual understanding that a Pacific dominated by any hegemon would unravel the regional balance of power and undermine the equilibrium we all seek to preserve.
The shadow of Iran war hangs heavily on what's billed as Asia's leading defense forum. Hegseth told the gathering that the US is capable of resuming the war if necessary.
Our ability to recommence if necessary is, we are more than capable. Our stockpiles are more than suited for that, both there and around the globe, because of how we balance exquisite and more plentiful munitions. So we're in a very good place.
All right, well, Michael Shoebridge is the Director of Strategic Analysis Australia, and that's a defence and security think tank, joining us live from Canberra. Thank you for speaking to us once again here at Al Jazeera. The kind of language that's been used by Hegseth towards China seems to be very different from the general sort of anti-China rhetoric that we've heard from Donald Trump, from the administration, whether it was in his first term or moving into his second term. And of course, all of this off the back of that meeting between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping.
Yes, that is an interesting part of Hegseth's speech. He talks about less public confrontation and about a calmer relationship with China, less of a megaphone and more quiet strength. And so his tagline for his speech was strong, quiet, but clear.
And why do you think that is? Where do you think that shift has come about from? What's the sort of ultimate goal here?
Well, I think it's led the tone of the US-China relationship from America's point of view is set by Donald Trump. And he clearly sees more positives in the relationship than many of his predecessors. He's much more interested in transactional outcomes and business deals, selling soybeans to China than before. So he doesn't want a hardline military approach, and Hegseth is following his lead.
Right. Definitely there has been a major sore point for China here when it comes to the US. And of course, that's regarding Taiwan. Do you think the US, after that meeting between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping that happened just over a week ago, do you think that things may change there in terms of the US backing Taiwan?
Well, there are certainly some disturbing signs that there is a change in American policy. So Donald Trump on the flight back from Beijing said things like Taiwan's thousands of miles away from America and them pushing for independence is a big part of the problem. Taiwan isn't pushing for independence. And Trump also said he was considering $14 billion of arms sales to Taiwan that America has pressed Taiwan to make as great leverage in his negotiation with Beijing. Then Pete Hegseth didn't actually mention Taiwan in his speech, which is a gap. The closest he got was talking about the balance of power and the status quo in the region.
Yeah, that was interesting, the fact that that wasn't mentioned. What do you think the Asian defence leaders that are attending this summit are going to be expecting from the US and perhaps any conversations they could try and have behind closed doors?
Well, I think we saw the same message out of America. You know, America first in a power-based world. Values and democracy are nowhere to be seen. And burden sharing means US allies and partners having to spend a whole lot more. 3.5% of GDP is a simple, clear expectation. So the signal to Japan was there's encouraging signs, but you're not moving fast enough. The only ally America seems happy with in Asia is South Korea. The rest, like Australia, Philippines, Japan, apparently we're still free riding.
And when it comes to the war in Iran, of course, Asia has been affected the most. What does that mean for Asia? And could they perhaps influence Pete Hegseth while he's there as the Pentagon chief in terms of what their needs are?
Well, let's hope so. But really, the effect of the war in Iran that America and Israel began is a big economic hit to the world, but particularly to Asia, so dependent on Middle East energy supplies. The other big problem is no matter what Mr. Hegseth said about America being able to resume the war against Iran, all the munitions and missiles they've used means they're much weaker as a security actor in Asia. So Asian partners and Australia and other allies are very concerned about that. That's going to be in the middle of some of the conversations.
All right, Michael Shoebridge, thank you very much for speaking to us, Director of Strategic Analysis Australia.